Folks, it's Fernando doing a video for the More Survivalists, and I'd like to address some of the replies and comments based on the terrorist attack in Orlando by some of the reporters and TV personalities. Some people that have a very strong influence in public opinion, and yet the thing that surprised me the most was the staggering lack of knowledge of even basic terminology. Maybe most of all, the thing that surprises any gun enthusiast the most is the constant reference of assault rifles. And again, an assault rifle being used for this attack here. They're usually meaning the AR-15, which is not an assault rifle. An assault rifle is a fully automatic weapon. Fully automatic weapon means that when you keep the trigger pulled, it keeps firing automatically on its own until it empties the magazine. The AR-15 is semi-automatic. It's one trigger pull, one bullet being fired, okay? There's quite a bit of a difference there, especially because assault rifles are extremely heavily restricted in the United States, very hard to get, very expensive as well, and as far as I can remember, it hasn't been used once, okay? An assault rifle, as far as I know, has not been used once in a terrorist attack or a mass shooting in the United States. So, but you see these guys talking about something they have no knowledge whatsoever. It's like having your surgeon in the middle of a transplant saying, yes, I'm going to be taking away this thingy that pumps blood from your chest and replacing it with another. Dude, that's called a heart. If you're going to be doing a heart transplant, you should know that. It's basically the same thing. People that influence the public opinion greatly and have no idea what they're talking about. Clips with a lot of ammunition, deadly military style weapons. All firearms are deadly. I mean, even 22 long rifle guns are deadly. All firearms are deadly. There's nothing that it's extremely deadly or terribly deadly. You have far more powerful rounds being fired from hunting rifles, right? And then they make reference to the Second Amendment, and again, I understand people not knowing that much about guns. I don't understand Americans not knowing their own Constitution and what the Second Amendment stands for. First of all, they clearly don't understand why it is the Second Amendment in the first place. Not the third, fourth, 10th. It's the second. Right after the right of saying whatever it is that you want to say, you have the right to defend yourself. But most of all, defend the country. That's what the Second Amendment is about. The Second Amendment is not about hunting. It's not even about self-defense. Was this woman Gretchen from Fox News saying, I'm in favor of handguns and concealed carry, but AR-15s? Lady, the AR-15 is the Second Amendment. You cannot restrict the AR-15 and have anything that resembles the spirit of the Second Amendment, because the Second Amendment is about having the population armed in such a way that is capable of overthrowing a tyrannical government if it ever comes down to that. Okay, it's not about hunting, it's not about self-defense, it's about the population. In fact, the population should be armed in a similar way as the armed forces of such country, if you want to be honest with the Second Amendment. Okay, so you can actually ban double-barrel shotguns. You can ban muskets. You can ban called single action armies. The thing that you definitely cannot touch at all, if you want to be respecting the Second Amendment, is fighting guns. The handguns carried by the military, the small arms carried by the military, those especially you cannot touch if you expect to keep up with the Second Amendment at all. Those specifically, the fighting guns, the guns that a population could use in a revolution against its own country, those especially you cannot touch. So you cannot touch at all the AR-15 and have anything resembling a population capable of fighting against a tyrannical government. And then there's the politicians, as always, taking advantage of a huge tragedy, loss of life, terrorist attack, either way, mass shootings. Whenever something like this happens, politicians just jump into the assault weapon ban, the banning this, but they just want to ban firearms because it's politically, it pays very well, politically speaking, but they're not addressing I think that's basically two elephants in the room, which is foreign policy and mental illness in the United States. Regarding foreign policy, this was interesting because first it was promoted as an anti-gay thing. Then it came out that the guy was actually gay himself. He was going to that club for months. He had a gay dating app himself. His wife thinks he's gay. I mean, the guy was clearly gay, and he killed other gay people. So, so much for that. Now, the guy was clearly mentally unstable, and the guy was clearly a Muslim fanatic. Those two things are the key of why these things happen in the United States. Because of terrorism, because of mental illness. None of that is being mentioned in the mass media. Why? Well, because politically it's not good. It's actually quite expensive as well. Regarding terrorism, you have those same guns, guys, the AR-15 or AR-15 style weapons that so many politicians today want to ban in the United States. They are available here in many other countries, including here where I am now in Spain. In Spain, you can buy an AR-15 style weapon, you can buy a Glock and a SIG. All the weapons used in this terrorist attack you can buy here, and you can buy in many other countries. It's not the freaking weapon. In terms of why terrorist attacks occur in certain places is because terrorists want to make a point regarding who they are attacking and who they are promoting, the lone wolves, the people that are easy to influence and get them to commit those terrorist attacks for them. They want to have them in certain places, and they want to have them against certain groups of people. I think that the problem specifically regarding terrorism started with a very misguided, very poor foreign policy of the United States in the last few decades. And this is something that Ron Paul addressed very bravely so during a presidential debate when he said, they came here because we went over there. And everyone went like, whoa, what are you talking about? You're not supposed to say that. You're not supposed to say that terrorists are coming to our country or are instigating and influencing and making sure terrorist attacks occur here because we went over there. You're not supposed to say that. In fact, that's actually true, okay? It was a huge can of worms that no one should have touched with a 6-foot pole. No way. I mean, it was a huge, huge mistake trying to get involved. And why is it that it started? Of course, it's always money at the end of the day, all those shady deals going on. But I think it was a huge mistake thinking that because it was at the other end of the world that you could go there, do your thing, and not get bit back home. Especially because when you're dealing with this kind of terrorists, especially when you're dealing with fanatics, there's no borders for you anymore. In fact, look at what's happening. Most of these guys are actually within your borders already. But it combines beautifully with the mental illness problem. You have a guy that is, looking to do something crazy. He's already unstable, and he's attracted very much so to all these to all this propaganda of extremism promoted by the terrorists. There's really no way. Look at what happens. It's happening within your own society, within the borders. It's not that they're just jumping on a plane, traveling over there. They're actually getting them through the internet, influencing, getting in people's heads, and this ends up happening. The second thing about mental illness in the United States, the thing is, it's much easier to ban weapons or ban ARs than to actually address the mental health problem in the US. How is it possible that a person could go practically his entire life until he's a 20-year-old adult with a clear, significant mental problem and not being detected at all in school, no teacher, no principal, no one noticing that there's such an unstable person among them? There's a huge lack of response there by the government, which should be capable of saying, okay, this kid has a problem. I mean, you have that person going to school pretty much every day, and you don't detect that, you don't do nothing about that, you don't have programs for people. I mean, folks, there's people that have mental illnesses, some of various degrees, but you have people that are a danger to themselves and to others. Those people you either have to treat, you have to keep an eye on, or you have to separate directly from society. You cannot have them among them because eventually they're going to be doing something crazy, which is exactly what a mass shooting is. So why isn't this being talked about rather than talking about banning AR-15s? You're not going to be stopping when someone is ended in massacring numbers of people, and biggest terrorist attack in the United States was perpetrated with a couple airplanes. If you think airplanes and guns are the only things that can be used so as to commit these attacks, you're dead wrong. There's so many other ways. Anyone that puts his head into it for some time will find a way of doing that. And even then, guns are already everywhere, so you're not going to be keeping them away from people that actually want to be using them to do these things. But that's what I noticed, the two big things. And unfortunately, I don't see this getting any better, especially with the options that you have in terms of candidates, either Hillary or Trump. Man, it's really not going to be nice. It's not going to be good in the coming years because, well, I suppose that's a topic for another video. But yeah, I guess I should do one of those as well because, man, you're going to be... There's really no way around that, is it? So, guys, that's basically my opinion regarding this terrorist attack in Orlando. Folks, have a great day. Take care. Subscribe, share. See you on our next video.